Welcome to the Dave Palma Show, the podcast that revives, restores, and awakens your innermost capabilities.
You have the training and the talent to succeed, but do you have the guts to fail?
I love what I do. When you love what you do, you want to be the best at it.
Today is about the power of you. You will change the world.
Find your path to success through the journey of those who have succeeded. And now, your host, Dave Palma.
Hi, welcome back to the Dave Palma Show. And with me in this episode, I have someone who is an embodiment trailblazer, an author, and also recently had an article out called Grappling with the Body Image Wound. Toni Bergins, welcome to the Dave Palma Show.
Thank you so much for having me. This is exciting.
It's very exciting having you here. Very exciting. I was actually trying to, talking about grappling with the body image and everything. I was actually trying to grapple my mind around what embodiment trailblazer is. So describe what you mean by that first, and why movement's the best way to achieve it.
I love this. I mean, this is my life's work. So basically, as a youth, I was, really struggling with all kinds of things about being a woman and in the society and the body, and whether it was, the right size, the wrong size, too sensual, not sensual enough, all the different things that we struggle with as women. Had a lot of difficulty in my formative years and then into the 20s. And I had this experience where I realized I'd become a spiritual seeker because I just hated life. I just was like, I don't want to be here. I don't like this. So I studied all this meditation, how to get out of the body. How do I leave? How do I go travel other worlds? I was studying all the spiritual stuff at a very young age because I really was miserable. And I think that's one of the things about pain is that it leads to purpose, right? It leads to some kind of questing. Yeah. So in my negativity,
a lot of people in politics or even political activists, that's how it sparks off for a lot.
Yeah. Right. It's suffering. And I mean, I'm also, very active in all kinds of different areas now, but then that was my crisis. So when I came to this dance class that had no mirrors and no perfectionism and no real choreography and no purpose I could see except just to dance freely, I had this huge cry, this huge realization that I had slammed back into the body, and I called it my first embodiment. I mean, of course, I'm in a body, you're in a body, but to feel yourself fully present in a moment and not to be in your mind is a special thing. It's like something happens and you're like, oh my God, I'm here. I'm home. And that's what I call embodiment. It's the feeling of, I'm home in here. And in this moment, I am okay. Like in every single moment, we're checking out how we're doing. It's part of the nervous system's response, as from our ancient brain to now. So we're always in this, many of us live in a hypervigilant state, which is very stressful for the body. So to be able to just be in the body, relax into it, feel joy, feel your emotions is such a gift. Like to be able to be free. It feels like you're free when you're in your body, in your own, on your own terms. So that's what I do. So I call myself an embodiment. Well, I don't call myself, somebody called me an embodiment trailblazer, but it was because I'm so persistent and consistent with my message that if you get into your body and you get out of the negative swirl and the loop, you can feel differently and you can teach your body how to feel good, which is something that a lot of people don't feel. They just wake up in the morning like, another day. And that's not what I want for people. I want to be inspirational. People wake up and go, oh my God, I got one more day in this body. You know what I mean? It can be rough. People go through so many things. And now in the craziness of the world right now, it's epically hard to just not get plugged into things. That we have to consciously choose to stay in our body and to tend to our nervous system and then do our work, right? It's like that. I think the dance work that I do is about the nervous system, really. And what it's really about, to be totally honest, people think it's about the body, but it's actually about the mind and the emotions. Because the body is this container, right? So when you can get your mind out of the way and let yourself feel what you need to feel in a way that is not going to affect other people, it's really powerful. Like I do these containers, I call them containers of grief, containers of anger, containers of sadness, containers of story, whatever it is that has to come forth. It's like we evacuate we let the emotional body just go whoosh and let it have expression without it being at someone in a fight, in an argument, in a this and a that, because otherwise we're just basically passing the charge along. We want to have cohesion. We want people to be, if we're sad, we want everyone to be sad with us. If we're angry, we want to, it's like, it's not anybody's fault. It's natural. Like when you have a charge, you either want to be soothed, right? So you're going to go to someone, I need to be soothed, or you're going to be like, I'm pissed, and you're going to want people to be pissed with you. And it creates, this is what we're living in right now. It's just the world of swirling emotional trauma, basically, when we need to all sit down, get ourselves centered, clear the emotional body, and say, what is the right thing to do? And what should I do with my energy? What should I be focusing my energy on? Because we only have our one self, right? That we can focus, this amazing energy that we have. Anyway, there's my, I don't know.
No. It makes perfect sense. But what I'm trying to work out here, or what I'm hearing, is that what you do is you use the body's energy and vibration, if you like, or whatever, to empathize with someone with the same energy. Is that right? Or
well, you do it. Yeah, you do it together as a group. If you do it en masse, you do it by yourself to empathize with yourself, give yourself compassion. I call it tell your story to the dance floor. And you come and you work it out. You work it out in a weird artistic shapes and emotion and passion and pain and all the things that dance and music, because music is so part of it. Music and dance are these emotional expressions. That's why we love it so much. We watch it. I mean, of course, we watch all the beautiful tours jetés and legs in the air, but it's much more about how we feel the emotion when we're dancing than to watch it. It's interesting. I love to watch dance as well as move, but it's not about being good at it. It's not about being good at it. That's the point but that's where the body image wound comes in. When you fall in love with your expression, your body image kind of comes into alignment. You're no longer seeing yourself as some gross, and people have a lot of issues with their bodies, and they don't like their bodies, or they don't like what package they've come in. And it can be hard. So that's one of the many things that I talk about in the book, is how do we just slowly titrate this experience of being in a body and falling in love with it? Because if you've had a lot of trauma, you may have a reactivity to being in the body. It might feel like, I don't want to be in here, it's terrifying. So we have to go slow. Some people they're like, yes, I love it. Other people are like, no, I don't. So we have this process where you go in slow. You start just rolling around on the floor, and then you move into your spine, and then you get into the fingers, and you're like, what is this thing? It's kind of fun. It's like rediscovering yourself.
Yeah. I mean,
everybody has a little something,
Yeah, when I was younger, I used to do athletics when I was younger, track and field. So I was on a high level, actually. So I would have been probably. I did actually think about to go to a US collegiate. So I would have been Division 1, that kind of track athlete. But my mindset was really more on focus, goal setting, discipline to make the training group and train and everything else that comes with it. Not so much to do with the body, because obviously you don't think about it as an athlete, because you're in the event or the sport that you want to be in, and some sports tend to have different shapes and sizes, within reason. Do you see what I mean? So apart from bodybuilding, bodybuilding and people that want to kind of do this gym stuff does have a problem, and it's similar to the kind of dieting phase and saying I don't like my body, and Instagram has a lot to blame with this as well. And so the men's version, or some women as well, is of course bodybuilding, and with women it's kind of I'm not slim enough or whatever, or the other way around. Actually, sometimes I'm too skinny or something.
Yes.
So as I say, Instagram really does have a big problem with putting a lot of stuff with that. But when I finished my weekend of hard graft and doing the sport, letting out my energy, winning a race or whatever, sorry about being, I'll go and celebrate in a nightclub and I'll be dancing away. Yeah. Right. The thing is, when I go and watch a concert, it doesn't matter what music you're into, but when you go and watch a concert and there's dancers there or whatever, I mean, I've even watched ballet actually, but in general commercial music, rap and R&B and that sort of commercial stuff is kind of, what I was around. But you see the dancers around some of the concerts you go to, and you can see the story and the movements and what they're doing, and from the emotions, what the singers, that's their job, to put emotions into their words, and they dance with them, and sometimes they tell the story by pushing away, coming forward, saying you push me away, then you want me back, and you can see all that. And what I'm saying is, it's a powerful thing, dance, isn't it? you know.
It is. I mean, you just brought up so many things to my mind.
Mine was only in a nightclub celebrating from my wins, or even losses, you know. So,
yeah.
But what I'm saying is, you know, what I'm saying is, well, there was a little bit of body stuff there, you know. I mean, there was. Well, actually, I don't quite look like that world record holder. Perhaps I could get my bicep that little bit bigger or smaller, or I could be. Well, I wasn't that tall as an athlete, so maybe I could be a little bit taller. That record, you know, that basketball record. I wish it was a little bit taller, but you know what I mean.
Right?
Anyway, so
we have so many.
Even seeing him dancing in that video is kind of like, you know, you look at that, and if you turn that sound off and you just sort of try and think of the words and look at the movements, you know, you probably could read something into it. I don't know if, I mean, I'm looking at it more on a commercial aspect because I don't know the work you do, but
yes,
somehow that is true what you're saying, but you do it in a more, I suppose, in a more clinical way. I don't know if that's the right word to use.
I mean, kind of. There's a little journey. There's a map to the journey that you take. So I'm taking people on this journey, and some people will come into the class and they have no idea what we're about to do, and they leave like, oh my God, what just happened? Because it takes courage to let go of your perfectionism, right? What you're talking about, like, I understand perfectionism. I was a bodybuilder. I was obsessed with aerobics. I was a runner. Did all these things like in order to I wanted to be perfect. Oh my God. Then I got into yoga in my early 20s when yoga was not a thing. People didn't know what yoga was. I was like, ooh, I'm sneakily doing yoga, right?
Yeah.
I was in New York City and I wanted to be perfect. And I was so good at it. Like, and I have a lot of flexibility and I was strong and all the things, but I was still in that pain body trying to perfect myself. And that's the difference between what I'm doing in journey dance is I'm saying, let's go on a journey. You don't have to be perfect. You're the hero of your own story. Let's start you off and say, okay, you know, what is it that I'm going through right now? And let's end you in like this, in a state of kind of an elevated, altered state where you touch into this feeling of possibly like that divine feeling. I don't know what the right word is for that, but that vibrational alignment when you're like, oh my God, I am energy. So I call it embody, but it's really energy work, mental work. Like, how do I clear my mind and become positive? How do I become actually someone who can say, oh, I prefer not to think that thought. That is not a thought that is helping me in any way, shape, or form. You get so into when you're so present in your body, it's like you can say, oh, I can edit my mind now. It's not controlling me anymore, because we get controlled by our mind and it's scary. Some people cannot control their mind and they just hear thoughts over and there's definite reasons to go see therapists. But if you can get to a point where you're present, it's almost like you have an extra second. When you're present in your body, you know that feeling like I have an extra second because I heard that thought. I didn't just say that out loud. I didn't just react. I can learn how to respond and say, oh, I'm now triggered. My body, I have a rush. So it's like learning how to do this process of movement and dance and playing with all the emotions, because you play out the emotions over and over. You say, oh, I know that emotion. That's me triggered. Now I need to say, wait a second. I do not want to do this to my beloved. That's not their fault. I've got this old wound from the past creeping in. I'm going to be like, right now, right here, what is happening? Okay, that's what's happening. And it's almost like becoming, that's why one of the things that they call this work that I do is I'm in the category of conscious dance. And what that means is, how do I raise my conscious awareness on all my levels? What is my body doing in space? What are my emotions doing? What is my mind doing? And am I treating myself well? So like when you would go out to the clubs, when I would go out to the clubs, right?
Not now. I'm 60.
All right. Now I'm
60, but yeah.
Okay.
But I could still go.
We could go. I'll come out there. We'll go to the clubs. I love going to the clubs. So I would go to the club and just like disappear into the crowd. Just be like, I just had no sense of reality. It was like,
no one's watching. That's saying,
that's an altered state though. Music can do it without even drugs or alcohol.
Oh, that's right.
You can go to an altered state.
Exactly.
And then you're like, then the possibilities open up, right? You're in an altered state. You're not in your regular everyday mind. You can say, what do I really want? Who am I? How's it going? It's almost like when you go into it's like meditation. When you go into an altered state, all your stuff comes up.
I was going to say, what you sound like you do is kind of mindfulness through dance and movement. Is that kind of what it is? Visualization and mindfulness and visualization, because the journey is a visualized journey whilst moving and dancing.
Yes, you got it.
And mindfulness, because it's awareness and everything of the emotions, your body and everything. Is that
absolutely
kind of a good summary?
Yeah, I mean, Yes, it's a beautiful summary. There's an exercise that I do where I have you like actually meet your higher self, or meet your inner guide, or meet your wild one inside, or meet your inner teenager rebel, or meet your inner child. And we
trust
do
me, you don't want to do that with me. No, I'm joking.
I do now. Now I do. I love a challenge. I'm 100%.
Right.
So I'll have you meet a part of yourself and like actually do a dance. So like, I would be me and say, here's what's going on in my life, and do that dance and tell that story, however that comes out. And then step into this part of me and be like, oh, here's what you need, my darling. Here's what's going on. And like when you play other parts of yourself, you actually realize that you have so much wisdom internally, and you might have a lot of pain that needs to be held and carried. And one of the things that I really try to instill in people is, however old you are right now, you have made it this far. So I say, I'm da-da-da-da. I'm not going to tell you how old I am till later, but I say, I'm blah, blah, blah. And I've made it, baby. And I'm holding the baby. And I'm holding the one that was wounded. Yeah. And we do some self-healing.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend therapy and all the things. And and then you bring it to the dance floor and you bring it into your body. Something about embodying the healing that is like makes your mind believe what you're doing. Some people learn through like they can watch a movie or read a book and get tons of information and it like changes their life. Other people have to physically enact it in order to change their life. Like other people have to experience everything. Those people? Yeah. I'm one of those people. So I'm like, if I don't experience it, I don't know what you're talking about. So I experience, I don't want to experience everything, not right now, but I want to experience it on the dance floor where I can say, okay, how do I play with this emotion? Because a lot of people have repressed anger. Anger is like something that a boundary was crossed, the society puts you in a box, whatever the thing is that creates the anger, the past, the parenting, whatever happened to you. Yeah. And we have ways of repressing. And anger is energy. It's so much energy. And if we don't utilize the energy, we just like tamp it down. We have to smush it. And that is actually really difficult. So if we can, especially as women, because we don't really express our anger safely, we don't have containers for that. If you can express anger, I don't mean we start yelling and screaming. We just use the body, we use the muscles and we discharge that. We take that charge out. Then our mind comes back to, the prefrontal cortex turns back on. We're like, oh, okay. I'm not, because when we're triggered, I used to have this statement on my refrigerator: fight when you're triggered, process when you're calm. Because if you think you're going to process and you're still triggered, it's not going to happen. And it. You're just going to fight some more and make more conflict and like just walk away, discharge that thing, shout, yell, punch your pillow.
Nothing's going to go in. Nothing's going to go in anyway, is it really, while you're angry or while you're wherever it's trigger is going?
Right.
So you have to wait for the dust to settle. Once it's settled, you can see through that cloud of dust and, and I
love the way you said that. That's what I feel like journey dance helps. That's what it does. It's almost like taking all of the energy, whatever it is, whether it's grief, because even grief can blind you as well.
Yeah, of course.
And then that can lead to, all kinds of, we have like the emotional layer cake, and really underneath most pain is sadness. But some people, they have like their wires crossed and they express their sadness as anger, or they express their anger as sadness. So like, how do you unpack that stuff so that you can actually feel free and let the dust settle and say, what do I really want? I think right now we're in a stage of creation on the human level. We have to say, what do we really want? And really visualize and hold that vision and add to it and make it beautiful, instead of being sucked into all of the, how do I say it? Things that need our attention, because then there's no place for your energy to go. If you're all scattered and you want to help this people, of course I want to. What am I doing with my energy? I'm just like,
the thing
I'm laying on the couch watching Netflix, right? So we can't do that. We have to say, okay, I'm going to do this. This is going to be how I bring joy or inspiration or help or resistance or whatever I'm bringing to the world. I want you to have like energy, like a pool of energy to work with.
Yeah, no. I mean, the thing I find actually is that also, and I do find it because I'm kind of placidly, people said, a few people commented, oh, you've got a plastic stereo. Of course, you're still going to get angry and all the other emotions inside you, even if you ever kind of come across as the calm type outside, monotoned and everything else that comes with it. But obviously, taking on a coaching role myself, you find yourself busy sometimes, don't you? Especially when I've got to do a speech in a school in a couple of days' time, and I've got lots of things bombarding me in between it, and thinking I've got to get that presentation right and everything,
Yeah, and you're going to inspire these people.
Yeah,
so happy for you. Yay!
And then there's everything else going on with a lot of other stuff that's backlogged and
life.
So I find I need to use it for myself anyway as well. I do believe in a lot of breath work because of the what's it called now, the nervous system. I forgot the name of it now, but anyway, it calms it down.
I'm with you.
Parasympathetic nervous system.
Love breath work.
So so I start off with that before I do any mindfulness and visualization, and I did that when I did my sports and everything. But not in the earlier days, because they said, "Oh, this is mental training," and blah blah blah, and you're in the zone. But you're just not going to know much about it until you. It wasn't until I found mindfulness and meditation. Well, it was only called meditation in my days, but mindfulness sort of started becoming more popular. And same with yoga, Yeah. So do you feel that's the same with you? You find yourself get busy sometimes?
I'll share something about the breath. You mentioned the breath. The breath is so important, and some people. I mean, I myself included, I was not a very good breather. I had a lot of what I call upholding, so that I would never really breathe all the way through the body. And I think that the thing about dance and movement and running and all these things, it actually makes you breathe.
Yeah,
so it's great to get started getting that breath going, and then you can go deeper into breath work. But it's I feel like with the dance work, I get to during the embodiment part, we're really stretching out, we're breathing into every part of our body. And then when we get into it, we're and that's normal. We want to play with all the different versions of breath. It's the breath is, we know the breath is life. It's the one thing that we cannot live without. So let's be honest, so we have to keep that thing flowing. And when our breath gets tight and our solar plexus, shuts, tightens up, and the diaphragm, it's like living on that surface. And that is a fear vibration. Right. Yeah. So until we can get below the solar plexus to breathe, we don't want to be living in a fear vibration. And that is very common right now. So let's all breathe, get it down into that belly, whatever it takes. I like to make a lot of noise and sound and help people what does it take to release, to let the belly breathe? And then breath work takes you into that altered state as well, if you really get into it.
Yeah. It's amazing because when you do track and thing, you're doing it where if you did track yourself and you're training, in the evenings and that, almost on a semi-professional basis, college.
You did that.
Well, all right. Yeah. But you're training with also, throwers, jumpers, and everything. And I've always wondered when I was younger, why are they doing this grunting? Afraid of shot put. And then I learned very quickly that they were trained to do that, to let the aggression out. With grunting and stuff. All that grunting you heard in a tennis and everything. That's all part of what you're talking about, isn't it? Yeah. So that's quite amazing, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, and breath comes with it as well. But that breath work and mindfulness and everything, and yoga even, is all a big part of, and obviously dance now as well. I'm sure even dancers.
It's all incorporated.
Even dancers may be looking at your work as well. Thinking, well, I could be. But anyway,
non-dancers can.
No. Oh, sorry, I don't mean. I'm not I'm not specifying your word. I'm just kind of
no, you're good.
Whenever you sort of mention something, I'm thinking, oh yeah, that fits into what I learned as, and this, the grunting noise and the breath work and everything else.
I love it.
Yeah. Before we go, then, obviously you do have a book out. You also wrote it on Embody, Feel, Heal. I'm sure you're going to probably repeat on everything you've mentioned just now, anyway. But could you tell us a little bit about the book and where people can find it before we go, and how they can find out more about the work you do?
Absolutely. So the one of the things about the book, which is fun, is if you buy it, there's a little flip book in there.
Oh wow!
At the bottom.
Wow.
Yeah, I begged them to do it.
Oh,
it was so fun. So we made a little flip book.
Good Lord.
That's just a fun part because I'm a fun person.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't write a book without some movement in it.
I've always been a fun person. Thank you for coming to my show. Thank you.
There you go. But one of the things that I did was if you do grab the book, and if you get, so there's two things happening. One is if you get the book, you go to whatever page and there's a QR code and it's somewhere over here, and you scan it and you go into a portal. And I created a whole video library, playlist library, takes you on a journey right through. So it's like interactive. You could read the book, you could listen to it it's coming out on Audible in December. And that has music underneath it. I'm so excited. I got all the music. So it's really interactive. This is a process of interactive. Like, you're not going to just read it and go, okay, got it. You're going to read it. You're going to put it down. You're going to get on the music. You're going to go to the video and roll around the floor. You're going to get funky. You're going to do the alchemy. You're going to celebrate. You're going to touch your heart. It's like, it's got so much to it. So I invite you to grab a copy and play. It's really about playing and coming back and coming into self-confidence and energy ownership and empowerment and love. Really, it's about loving yourself the most. That's
very
really what it's about.
It is very important.
Yeah. And you can find me at journeydance.com, because my original work is called Journey Dance, like to take a journey dance, and ToniBergins.com. And I'm on Instagram, and you can follow me on Instagram because I'm starting a subscription there. You can get, we're going to talk about all kinds of deep stuff. And that's me. So journeydance.com, embody, feel, heal, transform your life. The book is, for sale at all the major outlets.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, journeydance.com will be on the bio on the show notes of this podcast if you're listening right now to it, so you can check out their website there as well. And just where I was saying wow, it's because even if you go on Amazon, you won't even see it, so you'll have to really check out the YouTube video, because when she flicked the page, there was this image of a moving dancer as you flick the bottom page. So there we go again. So if you're listening in audio and you wonder what the heck's going on, you'll have to flick over to YouTube, because you won't find it on Amazon or anything. Or go to your nearest bookstore if you say that it's on the shelves in the bookstores, and check it out there. I'm sure the bookstore won't mind if you just quickly flick through it and
just grab your little flip book. Remember, you're a kid.
More importantly, buy the book and learn about Toni's work. I think that's the main thing. I'm not trying to be a seller here or anything. I don't do that on this show, but of course.
But you're fun.
Thanks for that.
You are, and I know you really help people. And I read your bio and I looked at your stuff, and I just want to honor that. It's really helping other people is something that I think most people are doing right now. So to take care of ourselves, right? So it's like I have to let go of the other stories of other people that I'm coaching and helping. So I use the process to also just release. It's a lot of energetic release. And then you come back to like this kind of, like we call it, one of my DJs who used to work with me for years and years, and he lives in England. He called it energetic hygiene. And I was like, yes, I love that. So DJ Root, kudos to DJ Root. He's about energetic hygiene. He's like, we're doing energetic hygiene, Toni. And I was like, we are. And we're just clearing and releasing this over and over. So every day we can feel more like alive, fresh, rejuvenated, and ready to go. And like live our lives, really go for it.
That's fantastic. I love the work you're doing. I really do. I'm really great that you come on this show, and appreciate you coming on the show, talking about your work. Thank you very much, Toni.
Thank you so much.
That's all for this episode. Thanks for listening. And remember, if you want to support what we do, then share, subscribe, and leave a review over on Apple Podcasts. Or head over to my website, davepalmer.com, and click on Rate Show. Well, that's all for now, but I'll see you in the next episode of The Dave Palmer Show.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.